General China, hero, traitor, or the most complicated man of the Mau Mau. This is a rare photograph. A man once feared in the forest of Mount Kenya. A man once hunted by the British Empire, now seen smiling with his wife and children. This is General China, real name Warohio Itote. But here is the uncomfortable question history keeps avoiding. Was General China a freedom fighter or did he betray the Mau Mau revolution? Before the Mau Mau odds, before the forest, before the bloodshed, Warohio Itote was a British soldier. In 1942, he enlisted at Langata Barracks, joining the King African Rifles, the very army enforcing colonial rule in Kenya. He trained in Roiro, Nanyuki, Yatta, then shipped off to Ceylon for jungle warfare training, before being deployed to Burma, fighting the Japanese in World War II. Promoted to a full corporal, Itote learned guerrilla tactics, weapon handling, discipline, surviving in hostile terrain. Ironically, these were the same skills he would later use against the British themselves. So, the question begins early. Was he fighting for freedom or simply following power? After the war, Itote returned home expecting a reward. Instead, he found no land, no economic freedom, no equality. White settlers still owned Kikuyu land. African veterans were discarded like used tools, disillusioned, angry, broke. By 1950, Warohio Itote took the Mau Mau oath. By 1952, he was no longer a former colonial soldier. He was General China, one of the most feared Mau Mau field commanders operating in the Aberdare and Mount Kenya forest, alongside Dedan Kimathi and Stanley Mathenge. He led successful attacks, he outmaneuvered colonial patrols, he embarrassed British forces. For a moment, he was a true freedom fighter. January 15, 1954, General China led 6 fighters on a mission to retrieve hidden weapons near Mathera. But the British were waiting. An ambush, gunfire. China was wounded. And then, the turning point. He surrendered. Unlike many Mau Mau generals who fought to the death, China lived. Captured, treated, transported to Nairobi. And then, he talked. Under interrogation by British intelligence, including officers like Ian Henderson, General China revealed Mau Mau command structure, forest hideouts, supply routes, oath-taking rituals, names, and networks of supporters. This intelligence helped break Mau Mau communication, enable pseudo-gang operation, and accelerate arrest and executions. Entire forest units collapsed. And here is the most controversial part. China was sentenced to death, but his sentence was commuted. He lived comfortably. His wife visited him. He reportedly fathered a child while in custody. While others were hanged, General China survived. Was this mercy or payment? In his 1967 memo, Mau Mau General China defended himself. He claimed the war was unwinnable, fighters were starving, British air power was overwhelming, and continuing to fight the British meant mass Kikuyu deaths. He said surrender was pragmatism, not betrayal. He even recorded messages urging Mau Mau fighters to surrender, broadcast into the forest. To some, this saved lives. To some, it destroyed morale and crushed resistance. So we must ask, did General China choose life over ideology, or did he sell out a revolution to save himself? General China was neither executed nor erased. He lived until 1993, dying of a stroke. Meanwhile, Dedan Kimathi was hanged, thousands were killed, others were forgotten. History remembers heroes easily, but men like General China force us to confront a harder truth. Revolutions are not clean, heroes are not pure, and survival sometimes look like betrayal. So, when you look at this photo, a former Mau Mau general with his family, ask yourself, is this the face of a traitor or a man trapped between empire, resistance, and survival? Because history is not just written by victors, sometimes it is written by those who choose to live.